Hi everybody. In this video, I will give you some tips to help you score better in IELTS speaking test. There are 4 grading criteria for speaking test. 25% of your score is for fluency and coherence. Your score depends on how fluently you speak and how well you link your ideas together. If you speak too fast, you are more likely to make grammar and pronunciation mistakes, and you may lose clarity and coherence. So if you slow down, you can have more time to think and correct yourself if necessary. Also, you can pronounce words clearly. 25% of your score is for pronunciation. Your score for pronunciation depends on how clearly you speak and how it is easy to understand. The person listening to you should be able to understand what you speak with minimum strain. If you do plenty of listening and speaking in your day-to-day life, you can definitely improve your pronunciation. 25% of your score is for lexical resource. Your score depends on how accurate and varied your vocabulary is. It is very easy to improve your vocabulary score. You don't need to show off with great vocabulary. If you try to use difficult words, you are more likely to hesitate. Grammar is only 25% of your speaking score. Your score depends on how accurate and varied your grammar is. If you are thinking too much about grammar, you will lose fluency. If you try to use memorized grammatical structures, your speech will not sound natural. Do not worry about complex grammar. Express your ideas well. Express it in a natural way. Don't think too much. The more you worry, the more likely you are to hesitate. Part 1 is quite easy. You will be interviewed by an examiner. Examiner will ask you general questions about your job, family, likes and dislikes, etc. Keep your answers short, straight and direct. You don't have to give difficult answers. Do not speak in a formal way. Just aim to speak in a normal conversation style. Most of the questions are about you, your life and your opinions. Instead of worrying about everything, listen carefully to the questions and try to give natural answers and enjoy a normal conversation with the examiner. In part 1, focus on fluency. You don't need to show off with great vocabulary or grammar in this part. Just try to answer quickly without hesitating. A short, simple answer is fine. It is customary that the examiner will ask you your name first. He or she then will ask you to show your identity and want to know what you do, where are you from, and some basic conversation starter questions. Now follow these rules for speaking test. Part 1. Answer the questions using full sentences. Keep your answers short and direct. Use words from the examiner's question in your answer. If the examiner's question is, do you live in a house or an apartment? Don't simply just say an apartment or in a house. Answer in full sentence and use words from the questions. I live in an apartment with 2 bedrooms in the suburb area of Hong Kong. This way, keep your answer short and direct. Many students speak too much. It's because they feel nervous. As they keep speaking, they start hesitating and repeating themselves, making the answer worse. And the examiner is forced to interrupt to move on to the next question. So please don't do this mistake. Don't forget to say yes or no when necessary. If possible, give a reason for your answer. If the examiner is asking you, do you like music? Answer like this. Yes, I like music because it calms me down when I'm stressed. It just relaxes my brain when I'm bored. It is very easy to give positive answers, but in case you get a topic that doesn't interest you, how do you answer? It is very simple. Just tell the truth. Now, for example, if examiner is asking you, do you like dancing? Simply say, no, I don't enjoy it. And it definitely doesn't make me feel good. I just have no taste for dancing. In part 2, you are given a task card with the question written on it. Part 2 is the core of your speaking test and it gives you the best chance to impress the examiner with good language. Also, it is the examiner's best chance to listen to you carefully, and at this point, examiners get a clear idea of what score to give you. In part 2, focus on ideas and vocabulary. There is no need to use lots of fancy words with complex grammar. Just make your descriptions more interesting with relevant words and phrases. You will find it easy to keep speaking for longer if you tell a story. Develop this ability to illustrate a person you like or any place you like, etc. Prepare some stories to make your descriptions more interesting. When you tell a story about something real that happened, you will find it easy to keep talking. Stories are always interesting for the listener. When speaking in our own languages, we tell stories all the time. For example, you might tell a member of your family about what happened at work today or what happened when traveling. Or you might tell your friends about a film you saw last night on television. The ability to tell a story in English is a sign that you are becoming a proficient user of the language. Test yourself. Try telling a story in English like what I did yesterday. Tell something about your family member. Describe a book or advertisement. Describe about your hobby. Describe about a festival or a place you visited. If you have prepared a description of a family member, you would be able to use at least some of the same ideas to describe a famous person. Or if you have prepared a description of a film, you would be able to use some of the same ideas to describe a book or an advertisement or any television program. Do not worry about expressing your real opinions in the speaking test. The examiner will find real opinions and experiences more interesting than general, superficial answers. Try to cover each bullet point. They are prompts that remind you what to say next. They help you to structure your description, to structure your answer and move forward so that you cannot stick on one idea. Many students sometimes complain that my examiner was not smiling, he or she was not looking at me, she was yawning and not encouraging, and that's the reason I got a low score. Just remember, examiners are humans and all are not the same. You should ignore all these things. It is possible to have a very nice, smiling examiner who gives you a low score. It is also possible that an examiner who seems impolite or disinterested might give you a higher score than you expected. The examiner's attitude is not important at all. Focus only on answering the examiner's questions as well as you can. Do you know you can change your future in 11 to 14 minutes of your speaking test if you speak well? Take your future into your own hands. There are some benefits if you memorize phrases. It can help you to structure your ideas. Also, the same topics sometimes are often repeated. So, it can give you more confidence, but the disadvantages are greater. If you are not able to adapt your answers, for example, if you have prepared a description of a family member, now when you describe about a famous person, you should know which ideas and phrases you should use of a family member description when you speak about a famous person, or how to make some changes in it. If you can't, you may fail to produce good language. And it suggests that your level of English is lower. In part 2 of the speaking test, you are given 1 minute to plan some ideas before you start speaking. But suppose if you had 5 minutes or even 10 minutes to plan your ideas, definitely the extra planning time can help you to prepare a much better answer. When practicing at home, it's useful to experiment with the amount of planning time that you give yourself. Prepare sample answers in written form for some topics. Read your descriptions, record yourself without reading it, analyze your performance, and perfect yourself until you have really mastered the different kind of various topics. Go through list of questions. Many times you will find that you are improved, both in terms of the quality of your answers and in the terms of fluency and lack of hesitation. Students often ask whether it is necessary to speak for full 2 minutes in part 2 of the speaking test. I will say that speak for between 1 and 2 minutes. So it is not strictly necessary to speak for the full 2 minutes. However, it would be better if you try to keep speaking until the examiner stops you. Let me give you an example how to speak. The topic is talk about something that you would like to get replaced. Please say, what is it? How old is it? Why do you want to replace it? I have a smartphone of Apple brand that is iPhone 7. I have been extremely crazy about iPhone because it has its own unique operating system, an exquisite appearance and is made with the best materials. Also, it gives a high connection speed and lots of new functions. It has better batteries, so it can stay with you longer without charging. It has easier software, which makes it easier to use it. Also, it has fingerprint, which makes it easier to open it and other emails and other accounts. In addition, it is very lighter. I bought my iPhone 7 4 years ago. This was my first iPhone, so I was very excited when I bought it. Frankly speaking, it was not affordable to me at that time, but I thought if a battery life is good and other features are good, it is worth. For my work purpose, this kind of phone was a must. I have dropped my phone many times and my screen is not yet broke. Now, after 4 years, I would like to replace it with iPhone 10. I think I have used my iPhone 7 enough, and it is advisable to go for iPhone 10 as the technology often changes. And I like to stay updated with the latest trends and gadgets. I cannot think of any other brand now as no other brand can beat iPhone. It is just a beautiful phone. Apple's tighter security makes me feel surer. So I will be sticking with this new relationship. There are several cashback and exchange offers available on all the existing iPhone models currently in the market. So I will finalize my purchase. By the end of speaking part 2, many IELTS candidates feel exhausted and they just want to finish it and go home. Consequently, they don't do well in part 3. So please don't let your energy level drop after part 2. After part 2 of the speaking test, the examiner comes to know the candidate's level. So in part 3, the examiner will probe a little deeper to make sure that he or she is right. For example, if the examiner is not sure about what score to give for grammar, he or she might choose a question that requires the candidate to answer in the past tense or in the future tense or in a conditional tense, or to compare the past with the present. So please don't be in a hurry. Save your last effort and do your best to impress the examiner. Because during part 3, the examiner is making his or her final decision. A good performance here can boost your score. In part 3 of the IELTS speaking test, the examiner will ask you some questions related to the topic you spoke about in part 2. You will be encouraged to discuss these questions more fully and extend your answers. This section of the test gives you the opportunity to show that you can discuss topics at length, you can talk about more abstract ideas, you can suggest solutions, you can give opinions, and you can provide arguments or evidence to support these ideas. This section of the IELTS speaking test lasts about 4 to 5 minutes. How to answer? Give a direct answer to the question with a reason and example. The common question types that the examiner could ask you are like, compare and contrast, like how this thing is different compared to that, give an opinion, like how do you think this can be changed, or imagine like what do you think will be the future of these things, etc. Here there are the questions related to the topic I spoke about in part 2. Let me explain you how to answer. Question 1. Do you think more and more people buy new products when older ones break down without getting them repaired? Why? Yes, more and more people buy new products when older ones break down without getting them repaired. Because today people don't want outdated and unwanted technology. Technology is evolving so fast. They like to buy a new one to replace the old technology. Repairing cost is much higher to the actual values of the product, that also discourage people to repair old things. Also, people nowadays don't have enough time to repair the products. People these days can purchase a range of items without great effort due to lower prices compared with the past. Next question. What is the effect of the use and throw culture on the environment? The most serious effect of this phenomenon on the environment is that these garbage and unrecyclable materials are piled in dump sites, clogged in waterways, polluting the water we drink and the air we breathe. It destroys our ecosystem, kills every living thing in it, and as a result, affects food chain and human food supplies. Destroying used plastic is becoming a major problem everywhere. Even the recycling of plastic needs a lot of electricity. Disposing of a lot of waste materials such as heavy metals like lead and mercury and poisonous gases also adds to the pollution. Next question. Nowadays, a wide range of products are available in shops. Is it a good trend? Yes, it is a good trend. People prefer more choices or fewer choices. We live in an unprecedented age of options. People are more satisfied with the shops carrying those assortments that are perceived as offering high variety. People don't have to waste gallons of gas just to get everything done. Everything they need is more than likely in the shops. Next question. What is the difference between mall shopping and street shopping? Mall shopping offers availability of a range of merchandise and brands in single place. Buyers can explore a variety of designs and styles under one roof. It saves time and efforts as there is no need to move from one street to another in search of the products. Mall shopping comes with entertainment. There are cinema halls, gaming zones. Most of the shopping malls have complete supermarket and grocery retailers where the products are available at discount rate. There is an easy option to try and feel the products. The quality of the products is much better than the products found at the street shops. Street shopping is all about the independent shops where shoppers can find unique and innovative stuff. It is more about fun when the shoppers can enjoy the real fun of bargaining with the shopkeepers. The stuff found at street shops is not expensive. They offer the affordable product range that can be bought by all classes. Street shopping is more about roaming carelessly, having a drink or coffee with friends, or enjoying the street food along with shopping. Okay, friends, that's all I have to say about how to increase IELTS speaking score. I hope my guidance would surely help you. Thank you so much.